Hello and welcome one and all. This is John Webb III, producing under the name Dead Drop Media, and this is the Dead Drop Media Podcast.
Episode 6.
So, if you're a previous listener, welcome back. If you're a new listener, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. But anyway, before we really get started, I just wanted to say that this is a new microphone. I'm using the Shure SM58 in an audio interface instead of my normal USB microphone I used to record. And it was pretty expensive, the interface and the microphone and the cable. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. So let me know what you think about the sound quality, because I'm enjoying it. Especially because I could just kind of grip it and walk around the room. And I can just talk from all the way over here. But I'm using a compressor to bring up the gain, because it's low gain and all that, because it's designed for live recording. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Without further ado, let's roll the intro.
Coming to you live from our apartment down here in Woodbine, New Jersey, sitting at home, it's me.
Hello and welcome to Dead Drop Media. Please enjoy the following production with the hopes of acquiring a sense of relaxation.
So yeah, that song is available on Spotify. If anybody just wants to listen to that introduction song again and again, without going back to each and every podcast episode and listening to me ramble first, you can just listen to that little theme song on Spotify and pretty much anywhere else. It's called Welcome to Dead Drop Media, and it's by Dead Drop Media. So, anyway. Yeah, recently my brother just told me that, we had a heart-to-heart, because he's like an actual, producer, multi-talented guy, right? I think I talked about him before. And, he's just doing his thing, making ends meet and whatever, and so he has a heart-to-heart, and he says, the advice, one of the pieces of advice he gave me was that people like to connect to people and not companies. So I'm like, well, I kind of advertise myself as a business or a company, even though I'm not really selling anything. I mean, at least not yet. I think soon I'm going to start selling some stuff. Maybe I'll sell some steak knives and just be like a big old steak knife selling business like Cutco or something like that. Just go door to door offering steak knives. Just be like, excuse me, ma'am. Would you like to see how good our knives are? Stab. Pardon me, sir. Would you like to see how clean these knives cut? Slice. And how about you, Grandpa? Would you like to... Alright, I'm getting ahead of myself. But no, really, my sister, she used to sell those Cutco knives, and oh my god, they're so sharp. If you want some sharp cheese, I mean, there's no sharper way to cut it than with a Cutco knife. And I'm not being sponsored by them or anything. I'm just reminiscing on my childhood, because I'm getting old now. I see the darkness approaching. The void is calling my name. I'm going to be 29 next month, so yeah, it's time for the melodrama. But once again, I'm getting distracted. So, once again, I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Dead Drop Media Podcast, Episode 6, currently untitled. Maybe I'll title it when I finish recording and figure out where I'm going with this, what direction I want to take. So, here's another thing that happened recently. So, I don't know if I mentioned in the previous episode that Gabby bought an Oculus. Anybody ever use the Oculus Quest 2, like the virtual reality headset? It's pretty cool. I was playing Resident Evil 4 on it, and you grab your gun on your side and your knife and actually just move your hands and just really feel immersed into the experience. But what was even more interesting is a game called Synth Rider. It's one of those rhythm games, like where you move your body in response to a song and hit notes. It's kind of like you're playing Guitar Hero with your arms and not, with a joystick, a guitar controller. So that was really interesting, but what was even more interesting than that interesting thing is that you can make your own maps, and it's a free program. So I started putting my songs on Synth Rider. I was like, well, now people are going to have to listen to my music, and they're going to have to dance. That's what the game requires. I don't make the rules, man. It's just, you're in this situation, now you got to deal with it. You know, life's not fair. Sometimes you just have to dance, and that's all there is to it. They also have, somebody did a map for David Bowie, Magic Dance from the Labyrinth. Love that song. I want to do that. I want to do this for karaoke. I can feel it.
Remind me of the babe. The babe with the power of voodoo. You do. Remind me of the babe. Saw my baby crying as hard as babe could cry. What could I do? My baby's love had gone and left my baby blue.
Yeah, something like that. I can already see it. So maybe I need to work on that a little bit. Whatever. It's karaoke, right? Seriously, it's a karaoke track that I just pulled, and I have to stop. I'm not sure exactly when the copyright thing kicks in. When does it? I don't know. See, I'm a child of the 90s. Taking music and resampling it and using it over again wasn't no thing. But I don't know. Now they've got ears. The internet does. They're listening to us. They're watching us through our webcams. I don't know. It's just a big old surveillance state here in the digital network. You can't do anything. Nothing at all. Except for sit here and listen to me speak. The world's changing, man. It's changing. There's a war going on. It's, we're all going to die. But before we all die, I just wanted to say, so I was just talking about Synth Rider, and if anybody's played Beat Saber, now, I'm pretty sure these games are older than the actual Oculus. Well, I mean, I know they are, but I've seen them in, like, Steam and things like that, and I'm like, damn, those Steam headsets cost, like, $500 or more. I think that's why we never got into VR at the beginning, so it's really expensive to own one of the headsets. That my computer is not really VR compatible until I get a new one, and then it'll be VR compatible, and then I'll probably play the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, get so immersed into the game that I forget that I have a life outside of it, and then I just become one with the story, and that's final. That's how I died, just sitting here with the headset on. But I can't really be focused on that right now. Right now, I think I need to make some money because all of this is rather expensive. So I think I'm going to start a fundraiser. If I don't sell steak knives and show them off by throwing them, I mean, there's only been 7 accidents so far. But if I don't buy any steak knives, and I have to find another way to lucratively make money, so I think I'm just gonna get some clown makeup and stuff and just start doing birthday parties and things like that, and do the whole why is 6 afraid of 7, like in that episode of Dexter's Laboratory. I think that's my favorite joke. I think I'm just gonna keep telling that joke over and over again. So why is 6 afraid of 7? For anybody out there that doesn't know, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about it really hard. Because 7, 8, 9. Seriously though, anybody watch Dexter's Lab as a kid? In Dexter's Laboratory. I don't know the rest of the words of the theme song. I gotta watch it again, but that was my favorite show as a kid.
Also, Courage the Cowardly Dog.
So yeah, that joke is gonna be with me forever. Wasn't that long ago that me and Gabby were talking about doing stand-up comedy because we were watching a lot of Kevin Hart. And she started writing out her own, outline for her jokes, and I was thinking, that's not a bad idea. Now that I have this microphone, we could probably do it live, or just go to an open mic night. I'm looking forward to something like that. That'll be hilarious. I'm sure there'll be a lot of good entertainment there too. Oh, speaking of jokes and good entertainment and stand-up comics, so that's the other cool thing that Gabby discovered on the Oculus. So there's something called I think Horizons, the Metaverse, something like that. Anyway, it's like a virtual reality chat room except for people that are 18 years or older, because there's another VR chat that's called VR chat on the Oculus, and it's full of kids making animal noises. So I'm glad that they have an 18 plus option. So in this 18 plus option of the virtual reality chat, I've been listening, to her go on there. I'm over here in my little cubicle area, and she's on the headset and talking to all kind of people, and they're doing like stand-up comedy. And then there's one group where they literally do like, Nick Cannon and Wild and Out. They do stuff like that, and it's actually really entertaining. It sounds like it's an actual like live show that you can just be a part of. It's really cool. There's a lot of really good talent in there. So looking forward to checking that out. And Gabby tells me I need to buy an Oculus. So I'm like, well, I'll see if I can summon one from the depths of the Oculus factory. I think maybe now's a good time to create a prayer to Mark Zuckerberg, because Oculus Quest 2, the headset was made by Facebook, which is now called Meta, hence the metaverse terminology. So yeah, I think I'm just going to pray to Mark Zuckerberg to bestow upon me one of those Oculus Quest 2 headsets, because I want to play Blade and Sorcery. I want to bash people's faces in and use telekinesis all in real time, and just feel like really smug about myself. Like, yeah, I'm a warrior, and I came here to do warrior stuff. But yeah, definitely go to that VR chat, or Horizons. I gotta ask her what it's called when she gets home. But it's really cool. It's really exciting. And shout out to my good friend Katie and Brandon, because they are proud owners of their own VR headsets, and also my friend Karad. They were all about it before it became a thing for us. They were like, sure, they've been super into the trend for a while now, and we're noobs, just so new at it, like a newborn baby, just thrown into the metaverse, floating around the cosmos aimlessly, trying to find our purpose in this digitally crafted world. I also got a advertisement from, I guess, Unity. Now, I don't really know what Unity is, but I'm pretty sure that it's a coding platform maybe, or maybe it's an engine or something that works with Unreal Engine to create your own virtual reality game spaces. So that'll be pretty cool if I actually sit down and learn it and invest into it and be like, hey, I just made this great game that you guys are really going to like. It's called Stick Knives. And the whole concept of the game will be about throwing stick knives at each other, except virtually in the metaverse. So there'll be meta stick knives just flying everywhere, and there's a clown juggling stick knives. Metaverse stick knives. I think I've got great dreams for the future, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, so Gabby tells me every time. But if you buy an Oculus, so yeah, I'm gonna summon myself an Oculus from the depths. I'm gonna pray to Mark Zuckerberg and Cthulhu. Speaking of Cthulhu and Mark Zuckerberg, I don't really know anything about Cthulhu. I've never actually read H.P. Lovecraft, but there's I just know it from pop culture, like Cthulhu, the consumer of worlds. There's a very catchy song about it, based off of Hakuna Matata. You really got to check that out. But Mark Zuckerberg, I know, he's a machine. I'm not sure who created Mark Zuckerberg before he created Facebook, but it's pretty much been confirmed. So, yep, I'm going to be writing a prayer to a machine in binary code to give unto me this Oculus Quest 2. So wish me luck on that. That being said, we're approaching our 15-minute mark. So be prepared for the usual, you know what to expect already.
Attention listener, you have reached the 15-minute mark. If you've been listening this long, then I have news for you. You're a badass and I love you for it. If you're enjoying the show, please consider subscribing to patreon.com/deaddropmedia, buymeacoffee.com/deaddropmedia. Visit my Facebook page at facebook.com/deaddropmedia. I wouldn't recommend going on the Patreon. I haven't updated any of the content there in a while, but everywhere else, just come check me out. Thank you. And now let's return to the program.
So yeah, there you go. As you can tell, I have all of that going on, so what do you think about that? I'm making some changes to the structure of this show for these next few episodes. But anyway, so yeah, Gabby wanted me to talk about how I've been trying to make some Synthwave. So I talked earlier about Synth Rider, which, you know, a lot of people feel that program was based off of, you know, Synthwave music. So what is Synthwave for the uninitiated? I don't know too much about it myself, except for that it's what happens when you take the good old 1980s of the big business boom and the cocaine boom, and then, well, no, maybe not the cocaine, but, you know, the Linn drum machine. So the classic Linn drums, and then you have the Yamaha synthesizer. You're just taking all those classic sounds and then mixing them up with some modern production techniques. And they had other techniques back then, too, because in the 1980s, they couldn't use computers like the one I'm using now. They used actual outboard gear. So you had things happen like saturation. Saturation is something I literally just learned about. I mean, I've always seen it, but I've never known exactly what it was and how it differs from distortion. So saturation, now let me see if I get this right. Saturation is what happens when you send a audio signal into an analog device, but it overpowers the maximum amount of decibels. So what ends up happening is that multiple frequencies get added on in order to compensate. So it just creates its own harmonizations. And what you get is a very smooth sound. Like when it comes down to distortion's pretty much the same thing, except instead of adding on, you know, high and low frequencies, distortion just causes a bunch of clipping and, you know, just really grimy sounds, which can be utilized in its own way, don't get me wrong, but saturation definitely gives those analog instruments that warm feeling, and that saturation is very classic of the 1980s. And that's what Synthwave is all about so far. It got its inspiration from, like, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, you know, the 80s music that was played in that game for the soundtrack. Movies like Blade Runner, for example, and the music by John Carpenter, you know, all of these things are what make up Synthwave today. But I'm just now scratching the surface. I haven't really made a good Synthwave song yet, but I'm practicing it. So that's what I've been up to lately. So I'm just looking for more information. So far I know about the Linn drum machine. I like those little tom drum rolls. Tom drum roll. Yeah, toms. I really don't know what the hell to do with toms in a mix at all. I don't know how to make tom fills. The more I think I know what I'm doing, I have no idea what I'm doing. But it goes like something like doo-doo-doo. Actually, I can't really make the sound with my mouth, but there's actually a lot of over-exaggerated reverb in the 80s. But yeah, I don't know what the hell to do with tom drums. That's my guilty confession. I should probably take a class on drumming or something. See, this is what I got. Just a kick and some toms. So yeah, I got a lot of work to do still. So just gonna keep on studying those drum patterns. Maybe take a class or two if I ever have the money for it. Really understand the way of the 80s and the toms and the cocaine. Take a cocaine class and learn all about that. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Elon Musk and the Neuralink chip. Now, I know I'm a little bit scatterbrained with my thoughts here, but Elon Musk and his Neuralink chip can solve that. I remember he was the talk of the town because it was like, hey, I bet I can use a chip in your brain to cure autism. And I'm like, as somebody that's autistic myself, I don't really think I need a cure. And he was trying to explain that, well, the chip in your brain can help people that are mentally handicapped or struggle in some way, and some cognitive faculty of theirs. You can use the chip to analyze and to help them cope with their issues. And I'm like, well, first of all, I really don't know anything about Tesla or chips or electric cars or whatever, but, I just don't think a chip in your brain is a great idea. And it's not for the reasons people might think. People might think, oh, well, if you have a Neuralink chip that's connecting to your brain, then somebody can hack it. They can take over your neural pathways and just completely hijack your mind and make you do things you don't want to do. I think about it kind of differently. I think, let's say, for example, because Google had the same idea that Elon Musk did about the Neuralink chip, and I might have mentioned it before, so if I did, I'm sorry, but think about it this way. I mean, you go to sleep at night, bam, there's an advertisement telling you all about comfier pillows and mattresses that curve to your spine and some kind of herbal tea and sleep remedies. And you just have these advertisements play throughout your brain while you're sleeping. During your dreams, you see these advertisements. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you just start buying stuff online that you don't need, left and right. Stuff's just added to your cart automatically because you already bought it while you were sleeping. That's what I think of when I think of a Neuralink chip, because it's already kind of the way it is with our smart devices. If you have like an Alexa and the Google Home Assistant, if you're just browsing the internet, and it's not like how it used to be in the 90s. Now all of this targeted advertising, it's very intrusive. I feel naked and exposed just sitting here alone, talking to myself. It's like I said, the internet has ears. It's got eyes, man. It's not the same. It's just not the same anymore. They know what you're doing at every point in your life. If you have an Alexa, she is recording everything you're saying right now. I thought we do have an Alexa. I thought she was going to respond to that with something witty. But anyway, yeah. That's what always, made me laugh about the vaccines too, because they're like, hey, they're putting the chips inside of the vaccines. And I'm like, no. When the chips are available, people will buy them with their own money, willingly. I can definitely see that happening, because we already sacrificed those rights as it is. I mean, like with the Edward Snowden WikiLeaks thing, where he hauled ass and ran off to Russia, and everybody was like, who cares that the NSA is spying on us? It doesn't matter. I don't have anything to hide. And then they're like, the government's trying to spy on us with the vaccines. And it's like, well, make up your mind. Do you have anything to hide or not? And then they're like, I don't want to be spied on, but you carry a spy device in your pocket at every point of the day. And I really don't need to repeat that. I mean, because I know that everybody, from comedians to politicians to just edgy teenagers, has always said it. You have spy devices all around you at all times of the day. But that's kind of the bargain that we're in for, being a part of the tech age, or the super tech age, whatever they want to call this age, where, you're getting Neuralink brain chips put into your brain, prosthetic limbs that can be controlled with your mind. It sounds like a great step forward for humanity, but also we have to ask, at what cost? I mean, you guys can ask what cost. I don't really pay attention. I'm like, well, there's nothing more distracting than imminent doom, so I'm not going to focus on imminent doom. I'm just going to keep my life simple and just make these little podcasts and make my little synthwave songs that I can't use tom drums on to save my life, and play games like Fallout, Grand Theft Auto, and Cyberpunk. Yeah, we just got Cyberpunk 2077, speaking of the tech age, brain chips, and all of this, hardware and software and werewolves. Well, no, there's no werewolves in that game, but yeah, I like the game so far. We didn't play it for very long, but yeah. So I'll talk more about that in the next episode. Don't mind that sound in the background. That's Gabby. She's very excited. She's talking to a longtime friend. So anyway, we've pretty much covered everything from VR headsets to Neuralink brain chips to this new microphone. That's the Shure SM58. Once again, it's been a while since I made a podcast episode, so I really appreciate anybody that's listening right now. You're the best who ever was. Hey, if there's any way that you would like to contribute to my ambition here, donate me some empty egg crates. I'm going to build a little studio here, like a fort. My son will probably come in and knock it down, but I think it's worth a shot. I'll have a little bunker here. That way, when things escalate, I'll at least know that I have the safety of egg crates. But yeah, what else have we really discussed during this episode? I don't know, but it's definitely good to try out this microphone and be back making music and doing all the things that I like to do. So, with that being said, I would like to draw this episode to a close.
This has been John Webb III, producing under the name Dead Drop Media, and you're a beautiful audience. I assume I'm not looking at anybody right now, but you have beautiful souls.
Hello and welcome to Dead Drop Media. Please enjoy the following production with the hopes of acquiring a sense of relaxation.
And that concludes the outro. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for listening to episode 6 of the Dead Drop Media podcast. Oh, did you hear that door creak? It's my son. He just came in to check on me, see if he can come in now, and then he ran away. But yeah, thanks again for listening. See you next time.